Recording in progress.
And good evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 for Monday, April 15th, 2024. It was I almost go right to it, don't I? It was an interesting day for several reasons. As I left it on Saturday during the podcast, was that as the market was left, technically, it had a stronger, if we did not gap lower to begin, that the potential for the market to move up was pretty strong. And we didn't gap down. In fact, we gapped up just a little bit, but then they continued to just hold it and build and hold it and build and hold it and build up until when the U.S. opened. Now, the turn was strong and it was great. It was very tradable. And they went through a lot of different levels. And so what I want to present today is the additional alternate. So we've got the two sitting up top to whether it's a 4 or is it the start of the primary C wave. It's time to bring the other alternate into play, and I'm now going to detail it to you so that you'll understand why I am bringing it in, because it could very well be the ticket, and depending on what degree you may be counting this. But if we go all the way back to the beginning, or just that we're down to here and we're still in this intermediate C wave, within it, intermediate wave C will consist of 5 waves of minor degree, of which we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 under one of my preferred counts, of which there are 2. So the alternate would suggest that we're still in that C wave, but minor wave 3 would get shifted up to here. So in other words, we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I felt that at that high, which we hit on the 31st of March, it was a 5th wave, but then I had to determine of what. So here's the alternate, that it was a 5th wave, but it completed minor wave 3. And what we're putting in right now is a minor 4th wave. Now, here's what goes stronger with this particular view, because it would suggest that we're in a minor 4th wave. And that minor 4th wave would project to come down and possibly test 5,000, which right now, once the future breaks below 5,100, the next solid support is, of course, the next big round number, which is 5,000. And there's all kinds of things at that level. So it begins to coincide with 0.382. So what is the most common in a 4th wave is that it's going to be 38% of wave 3, the retracement. And it also should come into the 4th wave of 1 lesser degree, and that, by the way, would be right here. Because this will go up as minor, and these would become minuet. So first wave would be here, but we've already sliced through that, so that's really this one would be the next up. And as you can see, it is 0.382. So you hit 2 levels for the price of 1, I guess you could say. So if that being the case, the 3 gets moved up to here. Cyclically, the market is kind of looking like to put in a cycle low, and these would be like the monthlies and the 3 monthlies, putting in a cycle low at the end of April, beginning of May. Well, today we've got down to 50.94. And they pushed and fought to get it back above 51 to close there. And the low today was 94, like I said. So what's next up is that wave 3 could come in at 5,039, 5,040. So that remains, as I had discussed earlier, that remains an important level, 5,040. But maybe this time we just get a bounce. So let me bring this down in the S&P so we can take a look at what's inside all of this. So here we are. This is the 5. I pushed the 3, minor 3 up to here. And then what we have is this would change. So this would become A. This would become B. And then we start to count 1, 2. because we're in a C wave. So it's 1 of C, 2 of C, 1 of 3 of C, 2 of C, 3 of C, and then we're in the third, which could be finishing up. So I measured it out. Wave 1 to 3, we exceeded 100%, came down to that 5,094. So, okay, that works. If they want to put a fourth wave little bounce in here, that could work as well. And then we turn and we come back down and we finish wave 3. And that, I don't think that would be it would be a strong feat from here because it would be a strong drop. But that's the potential. Or if we're looking at subminuet, wave 3, that may come here. Then we get a larger 4. So the internal 3 may be down to here, a 4 and a 5. To finish this 3 could be come in here. A 4 and a 5 might bring it back down to here, and that would finish then the C wave. Remember, A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C. And then the 4, the minor 4 goes underneath it. So if we're just taking a look at the fibs, again, go out to here so we can see more. Opening up the whole thing. First of all, the one reason that I'm bringing it up is because you see that it came down and it broke below the no-fly zone at 51.23. It went through it, came down and actually late, but pushed below 5,100, which was also next support. Got itself just back above it. I don't know what or if, that will result in anything other than maybe some follow through to the downside, finish the 3, go up and do the 4. But it broke that, which then takes it from it being a fourth wave where it would finish, right? So if we were leaving open the possibility that we were still coming down in 5 waves to finish a third, this third, or even the internal third, but then it breaks again. So it went below where wave 4 could go under this particular count. And we still had, this was up here, this was being marked down here. And I was like, no, it just kind of really broke through that one. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then what are we coming down? So one of the preferreds in my mind is kind of like over to the side. Because for fourth wave, a minute 4 to go down here doesn't fit. A minor 4 can go down here, and I'm showing you how that can fit. And on a cycle basis, it also fits pretty cleanly that we begin then a minor 5th wave up. Now, how much longer should this take? Well, it's not actually taken all that much so far. If we reach that high on the 31st of March, 15 days, of which not all of them are trading. So out of the 11 days that we traded so far in April, and that includes today, well, we're pretty far along in even the minor 4. So I'm just taking things by degree. If indeed this is a minor third wave and we're coming down in a minor 4, here are the numbers. If it should overflow and break 5,000, it really would turn a lot of other pictures outside of Elliott or Fibonacci, but just it would start to form a more negative posture for the S&P or for the equity markets, because I'm sure they'd all go together. But this one in particular. And in that case, then we're going to be looking for something much bigger, such as we have to, then if we're going up and we're bumping from the minor, we then have to go up and start looking at how the intermediate degree is counting out and what an intermediate degree could that be. So right now I'm just right at the minor degree and I'm finding, well, that works and that works within and that works coming into the cycles. And so here it is. Now, again, if wave 3 was completed on the 31st of March, we're in a minor 4th wave. So this would come up to here. The minor degree would come up to here. And we're coming down in a minor 4th wave. we still have some to do. This would be wave A of 4. This would be wave B of 4, the minuet degree for the minute degree. And then we're in wave C, and it's breaking down, excuse me, into a 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's 1 of C, 2 of C, 1 of 3 of C, 2 of 3 of C, and now we're in that third. A little bit more, or we just pop in a fourth wave here, not looking for a lot. This would be the parameters that you would work and pull your fibs, retracements, but only using about that far. So if it were to come 4 and a 5, and that would dump it here, then this third wave is done. Then we get another 4 and a 5. And then the C wave would be done. And that could bring us into here. Overflow, okay, a little bit further down. But like I said, it starts to change the picture. And then you got to go out to here to kind of see what it could be. Because then again, we're over into this would be intermediate wave C. Then it would be done. I'd go up one more. Now, if intermediate wave C is done, then this would be a primary C wave down. And it's a much larger move. And then you really are back to how, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and just 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, wave 1, and then 2, and then a larger 3. You're going down in a much bigger 5 waves. And that would take it to put the intermediate C here. Now, if that's the case, then we're going to go a lot further, because that is then the primary B wave would be complete as well. All right, let's go over and take a look at the NASDAQ. In the NASDAQ, it is the same story. And this time I actually did just kind of move it. So I changed this. And this then counts a little bit differently. And that it's a 1, 2, and the 3 actually runs up to here. And that's the 4, and that's the 5. So it gets a little weird, but it kind of cleans itself up in between. But if indeed this is the third that completed there, then what we're looking at, there's wave 2, here's wave 3, here are the retracements for a minor fourth wave. Now, let's go in and take a look. I can actually just break it down this way, and then we can get up inside, but I want to do a little bit better. 1, 2, we're already done. And we can take it from what used to be the 4, or was the 4. And then we're looking here. So the 3 is here, and the 4 we're going to put over here. So it's a minor degree corrective phase. Same deal. In fact, this actually has always been problematic. But if we can count it as an ABC or a WXY, whatever, a WX and a Y, and then we did a B wave, and that could be, I don't know how you want to count it, but then we're in a C wave down. So right, these are minute A, minute B, and we're in minute wave C to put the finishing touches on that minor fourth wave. So 0.382 comes in at 17,740. Well, today's low was 17,008. Ding, 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 ding. Come on. 841 was the low today. So 100 points takes us down to 382. If we break there, then here's wave 2 for the previous count at 17,618. That kind of is also a do not break zone, which I will kind of stick it in there because it has meaning on the higher degree in terms of what degree this all would be. All right, so let me just stick it right there and then go get this low and fix it. 17,618. And go in here and just change this. 25. All right, so this is straightened at 16,000. Yeah, right, 16,000. Come on, tell me. My brain. 16,018.25. Now that's kind of the no-fly to keep this in line, and this still could be a 4. Not a minor, it could be a minute. Strange as that is. But this, as far as the Elliott, counts out much cleaner. See, to drop it degrees, you're getting so wound up in all of this. That's why I've been letting this now happen, to bring some clarity to what we're doing, because right now it's an ABC. If they decide tomorrow, okay, we're just off to the races, you're like, what? It's very incomplete. But maybe all of this, I don't know, is that a W? Could be, strange one. So anyway, that's kind of the no-fly. If it breaks there, then we're likely going to move. If we kept it into the minor 4th wave, it still would fit, and 17,441 would be the next level. So a little bit more complex due to just what it's been doing all up in here. And then this in and of itself is like, what? Is that the finish? As one of the counts? And I'm like, you begin to doubt it because of how it is beginning here as a correction, as a stronger correction, as the beginning stages of a larger intermediate degree, 5 waves down. That's what would be inside a primary degree C wave. Those are pretty hefty. And this is how it's starting. It's like, no, I would expect you're going to get a cleaner rejection. You're going to get the 5. If this happened up here, okay, I'm with you. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is looking pretty steady to be a 5, a finishing a 5. And then it just keeps going, right? But how we're getting it, where we're getting it, and what has come in between really kind of keeps me a little bit like, okay, maybe it is this one. And these are the ones that I run them concurrently. And when one starts to really bleed towards being something that's been kept on the side, then I pull it forward and go over it. So that's what I'm doing right here. So if it is a minor degree 4th wave, we still got some negative territory. And again, on a cycle basis, it fits very cleanly, looking for cycle troughs at the end of April, beginning of May. And so it'll be interesting, because as we pull into the second half of April, then maybe we get another and we finish this up, and the cycle troughs maybe before. But don't forget that next week, as we go into the earnings, there's a lot of earnings that come out in the week up until the 25th. And that's next week. So actually the week after. But we get to see a lot more earnings reports, and then that'll really also determine degree. You know, if everything's going to start to get rejected, then we may just have to. Intermediate wave C and primary wave B are done here. And this is the beginning of a much stronger downturn. But right now, I'm looking at it and giving life to the fact that it might just be the minor 3rd. We have a minor 4th, and it comes down into here. There's the new no-fly zone. So if it breaks there, then that likely is going to be more over that it's a 5th wave. But then if it starts to break down here, because here's the ultimate please don't break zone, and that's at 16,627. That's the second no-fly zone. In terms of this larger move, if this thing comes down and breaks this level, it is not a minor 4th wave. That's the overlap. So that's why it's a no-fly. And if something really starts to kick its butt into that degree, then it would fit more cleanly that what we're dropping in is the sequences of 5 waves down, and we're in the very first intermediate wave down, which has 5 waves of minor degree, and then minor 1, it has 5 waves of minute degree, etc., as we come back up that ladder. to fill in all these blanks. So that's kind of the story right now. What's happening in Israel, between Israel and oh my God, Iran, that it is an interesting situation so far. And I want to look tomorrow for what, if anything, comes out news-wise. We have housing starts and building permits that are at 8:30 a.m., industrial production and capacity utilization at 9:15. Those are tomorrow. And we have two. We've got the Fed vice chair and the Fed chair all speaking tomorrow. This will be an interesting discussion, I'm sure. So that'll also, that's going to throw the tape into action. It's going to jump around when these guys are out talking, and everybody's going to lean into what the meaning of their words are. Yeah, it might give us some decent plays intraday. All right, so I'm going to leave it there for right now, so we're not rambling on too much further. Introducing, just to recap, I'm introducing or have introduced an alternate count. I've spoken about it, and Sasha and I have spoken about it, and so therefore it's now in play due to the no break zone being busted open earlier today as we dropped. So producing another no-fly zone on a shorter term basis, and that's at 17,611, 612. And on a little bit longer term basis, or just a little bit deeper, the definitive no-fly zone is at 16,394. That's that low. No, sorry, that's that high. 16,513, 514. All right. So that's it for today. The next update will be on Tuesday, April the 16th.